somebody wants you to be needy, and that's not really who you are. But it's like they want you to chase them. That's what they're used to. So this could be somebody with a good job. This could be somebody that kind of got they shit together, and then you meet them, and it's like they want you to behave the same way like everybody else, and I don't feel like you're behaving that way. So it's like they don't know how to take you. They don't know it's different. You're forcing somebody to change. Your maturity is forcing somebody to change. It's like they don't have no choice. All right, let me shuffle one more time. Okay, one more. Your maturity, it's like you met this person, they have everything going on, but they're used to a certain type of person, certain type of relationship, and it's like you're coming in and you're forcing them to see that they need to grow up. Temperance. You're forcing somebody to, you're forcing them to see that they need to grow up to create a balance because you're not dealing with this. Yeah, you're in this energy where you're peaceful, you're in this harmony state. You recovered and you learned from a lot. With this Nine of Swords in reverse, you face life head on. You know what it's already like. You release the fear, the anxiety, and this person, that's what they're used to dating. Not the herb. Peppermint could be significant, but it's like they're used to women or men being in this energy of having anxiety or fear, like, oh my God, when I'm gonna speak to them, what's gonna happen? And it's kind of like you just flowing with it. It lets them know like they have they need to up their game. The Magician, yeah, they need to tap in that willpower. This is you, but this is what they need to tap into. Like, you're skilled at this. You know how to manifest now. In the past, you played with your magic, you played with your manifestations, but it's like now you know exactly who you are, you know what you desire, you know whatever it is you want, because you know that you can go get that shit yourself. This person is used to dealing with people that needed them. I heard Rihanna, you needed me. That's what they're used to. You don't need this person. You want them, but you don't need them. Okay? They're used to creating illusions when it comes to relationships, a lot of confusion, behaving a certain way, having secrets, being secretive, behaving a certain way on purpose to get under people's skin, to get a reaction, but you're not reacting. Yeah, they're doing things to have you react, but you're not reacting because it's like it is what it is. Either this is gonna work or it's not gonna work kind of vibe, because you've already had this positive change. You recovered from so many losses, like you done been through so much shit already. You like, I could take my time. I could wait a little bit longer. Like, there's no rush, but I'm going to feel you out and see what's going on. I'm not about to get in this hasty ass energy where I'm chasing you and following behind you, and that's where you at with it. But with this person, they're not used to that. They're not used to nobody like you. They're not. Yeah. If they resist change, you're going to leave them. Point blank, period. If they don't change this behavior, you're gonna cut this person off because you know better. You've already worked on yourself. High Priestess. Okay? Your standards are high. Very, very high. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you realized before when you were in relationships where you would lower your standards to be with certain people, and it's like you're like, nah, you gotta come up here with me. Like, I'm not lowering shit. If you want to be with me, then you need to come up here. And this person is realizing, like, damn, this whole time I thought that my standards was high, but really they low because look what they was putting up with. Look who they was dating. Look who they was, around. Look who they were speaking to. Look what they were pouring their energy to. Where you conserve your energy. You like, no, I don't do this. I don't do that. Like, this is probably maybe how you talk to this person. And it's like they looking like the whole time I thought I was the emperor, and I'm really not as structured as I thought. That's what they're realizing through you, okay? Because they watching somebody have authority over their life. Strength. that courage that you have, that bravery that you have, that confidence that you have, yeah, it's forcing them to change. It's forcing them to really realize what the fuck have they been doing all of this time? Because it gets to a point where whether you're a man or a woman, but if you're talking to all these different people, do you really understand spirituality? Do you really understand how energy works? If you're talking to 8, 9, 10, 15 people every day on a dating vibe, it has nothing to do with work. Shit, even work, that's too many. But to date and talk to, and good morning handsome, good morning beautiful, good morning sexy, good morning whatever, every single day, that's draining. And it lets this person know that they really was surface level. Okay. You're moving slow and steady. You don't mind a commitment, but at the same time, you moving slow and steady. And I feel like this is new for you too. I feel like in the past you kind of would rush things, and it's like now you're like, nah, let me move slow to see, just in case I want to be here. Let me make sure that this is something that I want. And at the same time, in the past, when you would date people, you would start getting blocks, like spiritual blocks, when it comes to your abundance and your prosperity, because you would stop focusing on yourself and start focusing on your relationship or your person. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in the beginning stages, it is very crucial for you to stick to you. Don't pour too much into other people, because you don't know where it's going. And once you give that energy away, it's hard for you to get it back. Okay, I feel like that's what you've learned, and this person needs to learn that. They don't really understand how energy works. Maybe they're not into spirituality. Maybe they just had an awakening. But yeah, this is somebody that grew up in an unhappy home. Their parents could have celebrated. Their parents could have separated. Okay, there's a lot of domestic conflict going on. So this person has to learn a lot. Okay, truthfully, their real energy is they're overwhelmed. Sometimes they could be cold. Their energy could be very repressed. Okay, they could be withdrawn, and that's how they manipulate. They manipulate people because they don't want people to be able to read them. The problem is you read the hell out of energy. Okay, you don't even have to do what I do, but you read energy very, very well. So you could see that something's up with this person. So it's like you're reading them without reading them. And that kind of scares them too, because it's like, if let's say they be like, oh, I'm okay, and then you like, no, let's say you be like, oh, you okay, and they be like, yeah, am I right? And it's like, they're lying, because you can tell by the energy that they're not okay, but they don't want to be open, they don't want to be vulnerable. But it's like with you shining that flashlight on that ass. You shining that flashlight on their insecurities. You're shining the flashlight on the fact that they're really not vulnerable. You're shining that flashlight on them to say, hey, look, you do need to work on yourself. The person that you think you are, the person that you're portraying yourself to be, you're not really him or her. You need to work on yourself, because there are people out here that's high vibrational and know what they want, and they're not going to play this game with you. And if you keep going after the same thing you've been going after, you're going to constantly keep having the same storyline, telling the same people, yeah, I was dealing with this person and this happened and that happened. Whereas like if you grow, you have a choice, and you can take your time and get in alignment with your true divine counterpart, or just meet like-minded people. Okay, last card. Seven of Pentacles. They see a harvest with you, but they're gonna have to do the work. They're definitely gonna have to grow. Like you're not lowering your standards for this person in any kind of way. Like even your patience is not really with them. Your patience is really just with yourself, because you're chilling anyway. So it's kind of like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't, kind of vibe. But it's like they do have the potential to be in this Emperor energy or this Empress energy, but at the same time, they have to be willing to do the work, and you can't force them to do the work. And that's also something that you learned on your journey. People have to be ready to want to elevate, right? You can't force them. You can't buy them. You can't trick on them. You can't do anything to make somebody get on the path. They have to be ready to become that divine feminine, divine masculine energy, and that's what you realize. So it's kind of like, I have patience with myself. You could be around, it's cool, but if I see that when it comes to us being in a relationship, if you don't do the work, then it's not gonna work, kind of vibe. I love this for you. I feel like you've definitely grown. I'm proud of you. I love this energy. I can see the growth within you of how far you come when it comes to choosing yourself and no longer putting yourself on the back burner.